Fear takes form in the darkness. The darkness feeds off screams. Fear is the enemy of childhood wonderment, built on hopes and dreams. So remember, in the terror of night, to protect the child, protect the light. Try not to become unstitched.
Hi, I'm Dutton, writer and creator of Unstitched. It's a brand new story that was created by inspiration of my niece, my love of 80s, like dark, gritty Don Bluth films. And in fact, that's what Unstitched is. It is a dark fantasy, all-ages story. It's a mix of Rise of the Guardians, Toy Story, and Coraline, all put together. I have a talented, wonderful artist named Laura Rimbas-Humberty. She's even doing one of the covers. The other cover is a variant done by the highly talented Jason Brubaker. You know him from Remind, from Sithra, plenty of other things. Unstitched, part 1 of 2 is coming out soon. It's going to be 48 pages, with part 2 being 50-some pages. Later on, we got some cool tiers with the book. Besides just getting 1 or 2 covers, you can either get this as a poster. This original art piece will also be for sale. And if you don't get the poster, this will also be the back cover as well. We have a mini print that's going to be on the higher tiers, like the 150 tier, which this is going to be a teddy bear based off the Boogeyman with the glow-in-the-dark eyes, limited to 10. You get both covers, this poster, and a mini print.
Hang on, I had to unmute everyone. I've nearly got there. Almost perfect. Not quite. I forgot about your freaky teddy bear there. I forgot that thing existed.
Never forget it.
Have you seen that thing, Luke?
Oh yeah, I love it, man. I'm not much for stuffed animals, but like if I were going to get one, yeah, that'd be my kind of stuffed animal right there.
Welcome. We've got Justin Dutton from Unstitched. We've got Luke, aka Death Metal Hero, down there with the blue hair. He's trying to warn off you normies. He's a dangerous man. He's poisonous.
Really? No,
I mean, you can tell he's toxic because, the bright colors of the hair.
That's right. And of course, we've got the man, the myth, the pumpkin, Mr. Blue Samurai. How you going?
I'm going well. How are you guys?
I'm very well. It was my birthday yesterday, and it was also Luke's as well.
That's right.
Oh, happy birthday, Luke.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know if
you're around the sun.
I don't know if Luke turned 40. I turned 40 at the milestone.
No,
and
I'm 37.
Yeah, you're getting there.
I'm getting there. Yeah, I'm getting there.
All locked up, too. Yeah, basically on the day that I turned 40, they did a massive lockdown. We're going into a super quarantine, so...
I thought you were going to tell us the horror story of the 40-year-old's doctor exam, but no, that's different.
That's coming.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, I wonder, surely it must be worse. I got the virus thing up the nose. That seems like cruel and unusual punishment. It's a weird ass feeling. I can tell you that. Let's say hello to some people in the chat before we get this party started. We got Shane Burgess in here. He's honing in on Smiling Bandito's shtick. I don't know.
Oh, you're way back there.
Yeah. Who else we got? Mo Biggs is here. He says, I don't think I know his mum, if that's what you're asking. What are you guys talking about? You guys are talking about other stuff.
Just keep moving. That was a while ago. That was more than one nap ago.
More than one nap ago.
I know. Jason Black says, buy the thing that whatever it is you're going to hear about. What is happening in the chat? I leave for 2 days,
have Tourette's.
and now I have no idea what is happening anymore. Frog, here we go. This is more up my speed. He says, "Hail all." Thank you, Frog G.
Hail Frog G.
Justin, you're in the chat there. Good to see. Mo Biggs pointing out that I'm now part of the 40-year-old club. This old ass boomer can't even show up for his own stream on time. Might be time to hang it up. Might be. The way it's going, the way it's starting, it might be.
Just gotta get the legs underneath you.
I know. We get running here. I do need to. It is. You guys won't be able to sympathize with this, but it is glacial out there today. It's like Antarctica out there. I'm rugged up in jackets and jumpers and all sorts of stuff.
Oh my god, I envy you. I walk outside and it's like sauna. Like it is so humid and hot outside right now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, people have been sending me screen grabs of the temperature, and it's nasty.
Yeah.
Absolutely nasty. I don't know what's worse though.
It's downpour because like the hurricane's coming through my state.
Yep.
Oh, so you get the heat and the hurricane. That's nice.
Yeah.
Every year.
Thanks for that.
Like clockwork, every year. As a matter of fact, the
Crackhead's in
hurricane
here.
is a normal thing this year.
Yeah. Crackhead's in here. He says, "How the fucking chat? How right back at you, Crackhead." We got Lord Christopher John. He says hello.
Dude.
There's Death Metal Hero. He says, I can't. Oh God. Have you ever? How do you do that?
I don't know.
Have you ever tried Mongolian throat singing?
A couple of times. It's a weird thing because you gotta get the low and the high.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty good.
It's amazing. Like just
Yeah,
the
I
way they can get like
listened to
both sides harmonized.
Yeah. I listened to a guy. He showed me, not he. I mean, I was on a video, but he was showing, the 3 different kinds of singing, and it doesn't sound human.
No, it doesn't.
But then you just didn't sound human then either. But I guess that's the point.
Oh, well, thanks.
Red Gay says, "What up, bitches?" Well, we're gonna tell some scary stories because we're talking Unstitched, and then we're gonna be talking, just scary stuff. That's the name of the game here. Oh, Albino's here. He says that teddy bear looks like the stuff of Cecil's ketamine dreams. It freaks me out. I would, if my kid was snuggling up to that, I'd be like, "Get away!"
What is it? Oh my god! It's like an adrenochrome nightmare. Love it.
Antoine says, "Happy belated bidet."
Oh, yay! I always wanted a bidet.
I'll take a belated bidet. Seniors like Michael are the most susceptible.
Yep. No, I'm too far behind, so I better watch how hard I laugh.
Yeah. Ruckus asks, "Which one of you is Smiling Bandito's friend?" Well, I think we're all Smiling Bandito's friend.
Yeah, right, we are.
Yeah.
All right. And yeah, all right. That was really bad. Hey, Justin, do I call you Justin or Dutton? You said you introduced yourself as Dutton in the thing. I don't know if you go by your last name or.
I typically go by my last name mostly because.
Well, then I'll call you Dutton then.
Yeah, well, it's cool. Mostly, I know a lot of Justins that are assholes, and I'm like,
Better not be one of them.
I don't really operate in that way. I mean, God, there's so many Michaels. I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't even be able to know where to start. Justin wouldn't be a biblical name, would it?
No, I don't think so.
Not like Luke and I. We feature all the way back.
Oh yeah,
so
biblical like Star Wars.
Yeah, that's right. Like, you would have been like a cool kid.
Yeah.
My
totally.
brother's name is Luke as well too, and he claimed that for himself.
Oh, did your dad ever do the whole Luke, I am your father?
No, he didn't. What a missed opportunity.
For real, my dad did that all the time. He'd call me up and be like, Luke, this is your dad. Call me back. Like, man, yo, you ain't funny. He's like, no. You'll appreciate that joke in a few years. Yeah.
Jim Cox is here. Did he ever try and get you to join forces and rule the galaxy as father and son?
Yeah, but I wasn't good enough at singing at that time, so he kind of abandoned that plan. My dad was a vocalist as well. He could play guitar, drums, sing, all that stuff. Play bass.
Before we jump into Unstitched, you've got a YouTube channel, Luke, and you do some weird things on that thing. Why don't you tell us a little bit?
Well, currently, probably my most popular show right now is the Sing Along of Doom, where I have a playlist of almost 1,000 fucking songs that I sing. Some of them you've heard on the radio, and I mangled them horribly, which is a lot of fun for all involved.
Yeah, well, you don't want to try and make yourself too professional, because then you've got to keep up that standard. That's what I do over here. I keep it very unprofessional, and that way I can just relax. So yeah, if you're screwing up songs, then just keep it like that, because then you don't have
low key and raw, man. That's the punk way. Absolutely.
spend too much time.
I had the hawk up, all 11 inches of it.
How much product do you need to get that done?
Only half a can. Matter of fact, I still got it right here. It's this got to be freeze spray. This is like, just grab it, spray it, and then grab the hairdryer and just dry it and just down on the line. And then you just layer it, let it dry, layer it, let it dry.
And then you take people's eyes out.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's effective at social distancing. Nobody gets close in the back.
Stay back, motherfucker.
Exactly.
I used to be scared of people like you when I was a kid. Getting on the train. There you go. That's a scary story. We had lots of punks here in Melbourne, who would wear the mohawks, and they'd have piercings and safety pins holding their clothes together.
Oh yeah.
And then I started hanging out with them when I was a teenager.
You know what's funny? It's the whole punk aesthetic is like, man, I don't give a fuck, but I'm gonna spend like 20 minutes putting my fucking hair up in a giant mohawk just to prove a point.
Exactly.
You care a little bit. You care a little bit. Yeah. I mean, it's a fucking cool aesthetic, man. I dig it.
Oh, Boogie Buddies here. He says we're at 100 signups for Robert halfway till launch. Yeah. Fantastic, man.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Hell yeah.
What's been happening in the campaign, Dutton?
I don't know.
Put you on the spot and you don't have an answer. All right, let's move on.
Moving on.
Honesty is the best policy.
We got like 14 days left to get funded.
Yep.
But I did add for like, if someone's a foreign backer and it's like, economy around the world is kind of crap, I want the book, but the shipping's kind of too expensive, I did add a digital tier. And
there you go.
Anyone who did back a physical tier will be getting a free digital copy as well.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
It's funny how that is playing out, isn't it? It started off where not many people were offering digital. I am starting to see more and more people offer it. I don't think I'll be going down that route, but I do understand the sentiment, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm not too worried about pirating or whatever. It's like,
No, I'm not worried about that either. People are going to see it. They're going to see it. They want to read it.
If anything, they'll be like, oh, snap, that part 1 was good. Let me try to get that part 2 and actually spend money on it this time.
When I'm thinking about what I'm going to be putting in the box for the Lucent, I mean, it's just nothing like reading a digital file at all.
Yeah.
So, the people who are fans who want to support you as an independent creator, they will chill out for the shell out. They won't chill out. They'll shell out for the for the premium product.
Of course, especially once they if they get a taste of it digital, then first taste cheap, the next taste will cost you.
I mean, I just had when I did launch though, like a bunch of people on the mailing list that was signed up. I had like maybe 30 or 40 people email me back going, "Hey, I got furloughed, so I can't really buy the book." And I was like, "Man, I understand. If you could just share it on social media or whatever."
Yeah.
Totally.
Is this the end of the campaign? This is the full 60 days? Yep.
Are you gonna go?
You guys have got.
If I hit funding.
Yeah. He's still.
That's the.
How many hackers at this? It's like you're still about 1,100 off.
Yep.
Yeah, you gonna get there. You gonna get there.
People really do like this book. Everyone who talks about are really digging it. So,
I mean, all the art is done. It's just more or less laying down the letters.
Well,
exactly.
This book also fills a niche. You know, there's a severe lack of like all ages stuff because a lot of us we're old school comic heads. Like we've been reading this shit a long time. We read our Preacher, we read our Sandman, we read our Transmet. We're all about like the older, darker, grittier, like give me my swear words, my boobies, and all that shit. But there's got to be stuff for all ages readers. Otherwise, we're not going to have another generation coming in to pick up the torch when, you know, we either get too old, too feeble, too tired, whatever the fuck, to carry on. Like, we got to have something to bring in new blood. You know, yeah, they're going to like some of the violent, gory shit that we like, but, you know, we need something geared towards them. You know, so that's what this does. It's fantastic. We need more stuff like this.
Yeah, when I was a kid, that's what got me to read was something that, you know, was a kid could handle and not just, you know, good for adults too.
Totally. And it didn't talk down to them. You know, it didn't talk down to you as a kid.
It gave me something to reach up to. If I don't have something to reach up to, I don't grow. In fact, I think I didn't. What's kind of funny is when I was a kid, I did spend a little period of time being afraid of the dark, but it was only because of the suggestion that came from people asking me if I was afraid of the dark as a kid. So
they incepted the fear in you.
Yeah.
Well,
Dutton, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No, you go on. Go on. You got
I was going to ask, what do you remember being afraid of as a kid?
Old people. You know what?
How old?
Like they got liver spots on their hands type old.
I mean like real old people, not just people who were bigger than you.
Yeah, like you, Mike, you're not old enough to freak me out. But once you get all like wrinkly, it's terrifying. I'm like, I love you, Grandma, but I can't really stare at you. Yeah.
What is your face coming off? What's happening?
I loved mine as well, but you know, every time we say goodbye, we'll have to kind of line up and give her a kiss, and she would always, you know, get the lips in. It would be like that scene in, you remember Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, where he has to kiss his grandma for the Easter egg or something, like that. All the hair and the wrinkles and
the mole in the upper lip. Ooh.
That kind of brings it back, Blue. This is sort of your idea for the stream was we would talk about our favorite scary stories, get people in the mood for a book like Unstitched. I don't really have any scary stories. I've told one story a bunch of times on the stream, so I'm not really going to say it again. It's a story where some kind of white orb thing came into. I woke up and found that in my house, but. Other than that, I do have a story of when I was a kid. We were talking about being a kid. A Red Gaze is like, get me in the mood, Michael. Oh, you know it, Red Gaze. When I was a kid, I thought it would be really fun. Our family friends had a caravan, like a. Do you guys call it a caravan? You know,
like a fifth wheel.
I know what you're talking about.
RV.
Yeah. That you put it on the back of a car and you lug it out and you go camping or whatever. And they had one of them. So I asked my mother, can I stay in that for a weekend by myself? And I would have been, I don't know, 9, 10 or something like that. And she said yes. It's like, all right. So they organized it with the family friend. And I went out and stayed there. I mean, there was nothing to do in this caravan, but I was just, I was away from my brothers. I had my own little place. A cool little bed that folds out. And the only thing in there was a copy of It, the book. So I was like, I seem to remember this being a TV show. I'm going to give that a read. Yeah, so that weekend, by myself to the light of some, little fluorescent thing over my head. I read it and just, basically just spent the entire, night of the 2 nights of the weekend just sitting like that after reading it. That's sort of my one big story foray into horror and scary stories. I'm not really a scary story kind of person after that, surprisingly.
But you know what though? That's credit because like it's a thick ass book too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was a pretty big reader when I was a kid, even when I was really young. I learned later that there was some weird kid sex scene in it. I'm lucky that I blocked that out of my memory.
Yeah.
I don't remember reading that part.
Yeah.
It's implied more than anything else, but yeah. It's
Oh yes, cool. I got my first cool story, bro.
Oh, no.
Well, I got
It's another
marshmallows. So, death metal or Luke, I guess.
Yo.
All right. So you got a favorite horror novel, or I prefer hearing experience stories. So which way do you want to go?
I mean, I can go either way. I live in a very, very, very old town where lots of vile shit has happened. So there's fucking spirits all over this bitch. Like it's been featured on Ghost Hunters and shit like that. We've got like old forts and all kinds of stuff. So
Give us a ballpark. How old?
1565.
Damn.
Dang.
Yeah, we don't have anything like that here. Australia was settled in like our oldest things are barely a couple hundred years old.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a Spanish settlement way back when. Like, I mean, you want to hear some horror stories, like talking about like how they lived. Like, donkeys would like get faces full of flies and just keel over and die and suffocate because of the bugs in this state. How does anybody come to this fucking state and think, you know what? I'm going to settle down here. Giant horse flies, snakes that want to eat you. I don't know, man.
Because they knew in the future that people would eventually have housing and, climate control and
Totally.
They foresell the future.
All right. So how about an experience story? I was downtown walking around after a pub crawl, just me minding my own business. And it was quiet. It was probably around like 1, 2 in the morning. I was on one of the back streets, and I thought I heard something. So I kept walking. Thought I heard something again. And you know how you get that feeling in the back of your neck that something, maybe not right there, but over there is watching you. So you stop and you look around. Listen for anything. Don't really hear anything. So I'm heading towards my car. I'm heading back towards civilization, and I kept feeling something getting closer. And turned around, never saw anything. Heard rustling a few times, and then could have sworn I saw some kind of glowy something or other by one of the fucking numerous cemeteries in this town. And then after that, I got back into more, populated area, near a bar. But that's the closest anything's like actually tried to pop out at me around here. Most of the time, I'll hear something. I'll be like, "Hey, fuck off."
That's when the ghosts leave you alone. Yeah, we have similar stories like that pop up a lot down in Tasmania, which is the state underneath us. But people will actually say that they'll get like a hand go on their shoulder and turn them around.
Yep.
And there's a photo. I mean, obviously, I wasn't there. I don't know if there's a real photo, but there's a photo of a person who purposefully walked this area to get it happen to them. And when it did, like pushed back against it, and they got a massive hand-shaped bruise on their thing. But again, I don't know if the photo is real. But yeah, I mean that when I was there walking in that street at night, I was getting watery eyes and shivers down my spine.
You can feel energy like that, man. It's no joke. You can feel that shit, whether you believe in it or not. You can feel that shit. The hackles that raise up on the back of your neck. Yeah, that's your lizard brain telling you something's fucked up around you.
They say some of that is this doesn't work out in the open by a graveyard, but some of that in older houses is a very low frequency draft, creating like, you know, something you can't hear. It's so low, but it still does that to you. That doesn't work when you're outside by a graveyard.
Nope.
Yeah, see, I live in North Carolina, and we have like a lot of like Blackbeard legends and shit. And like, there's actually a house. I can't remember what city it is. I think it's Wilmington, where like the house itself is like not for sale because apparently it used to be the house of like Blackbeard. And the backyard, you'll see a ghost where, you know, Blackbeard had like many wives and girlfriends and stuff. Right. Well, one of them remarried or like redated an old flame of hers. And when Blackbeard showed up, they were in like the house, and he chopped off the boyfriend's head like down the stairs. So like allegedly, and you know, we're not allowed inside the house, but like allegedly, like at night, the stairs so like, you know, wet with like blood, and then he like dragged his wife to the backyard where like there's a single tree, and the tree's still back there, and he hung her. So at night, you'll actually see a ghost hanging on the tree of a woman. I'm like, Blackbeard.
Damn you, Blackbeard.
That's what we're to do, man. You know, impressions, echoes.
Mm-hmm. Did you always want to write a scary story, Dutton?
Kind of. I mean, but not like over the top scary. I'm like, all right, with like Unstitched, I kind of hit that good like Tim Burton-esque, where it's not really scary, but it's got that good creepy-ish vibe at times, but it's, you know, more lighthearted. Is she hot? I mean, it's a ghost.
And she doesn't have a head anymore, does she?
Well, she does, but it's kind of
most not picky.
One side. Yeah.
Lord Christopher John says you have a great voice.
Who me or
Antoine?
I think he's talking about you, Dutton.
Antoine is requesting refunds for our storytelling skills. I'm sorry, Antoine, that we're not living up to your standards.
I will work harder.
I mean,
what about
the only like real scary thing that happened to me is, I mean, and this is more of PTSD. Like, I have a fear of also like large flames, but that's due with my house being set on fire when I was like 4 and being trapped inside. So,
God,
yeah, that was actually a scary. Like, it started as an electrical fire in the garage, and my parents, like my parents woke up. They opened up because the garage was like near the kitchen. We can go through the kitchen to go to the garage. And they saw like the flames and stuff. They go in my room because me and my brother, like my brother's maybe at the time 1 or 2. I'm like 4. They grab my little brother and they bolt out. I'm left in. And then, you know, I freak out because obviously fire, and they couldn't go back in because fire and stuff. So I actually go to my parents' room, and my parents' room is closer to the garage. So I actually go closer to the flames and stuff. My neighbor from across the street is a retired fireman. He actually runs across the street. He saves me. Unfortunately, my aunt and my 2 cousins perished because they lived in the apartment in the garage. And actually, I heard that. So every now and then, I kind of have, you know, flashbacks and like bonfires, like big bonfires. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Large flames.
That's a shame because I love a good bonfire. You know, but I mean,
I can imagine that would imprint on you hard.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, that firefighter was there to save you. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking to you right now, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Did he just burst in and pick you up? What happened?
Yeah. So he, you know, basically grabbed like a towel. burst in, and he just kept like calling like Justin. I was like, I'm here, Justin, I'm here. And I was standing on like my parents' bed with like flames all around me on the walls and stuff, and he just picked me up and like ran.
Oh man,
Holy hell,
that's
dude.
insane. That got really intense all of a sudden.
Yeah, like I don't really have a truly scary story. I just kind of have
That is
scary
scary.
moments.
Yeah.
That's definitely scary, especially
Scary
you
story.
being in the midst of it.
Yeah.
Do you have any stories, Blue?
Oh yeah. Scary stories don't have to be ghostly or anything, but and feel free if you got old nightmares. Here's one of mine. In the house where I mostly grew up, like most houses, the master bedroom is on the opposite side of the house from the hallway where the other bedrooms are. And the bedroom I was in at the time, I had a particular dream. God, this feels so petty. Following up, yeah, I almost burned to death with. I had a dream once. Anyway, so no offense there, Justin. We're glad you're with us.
Yeah.
But so I was in the first bedroom, and let's see this. So the first bedroom was off the family room, if you would. It's one of those houses that has a living room on one side and then a family room on the other side. So, if you're in the family room and you want to go to the backyard, you go out what we always called a sliding glass door. I think properly they're called Arcadia doors.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's say that faces east. The first bedroom's window also faced east into that portion of the backyard. And then if you went around the corner of the hallway, the rest of the bedroom windows for the next bedroom and the bathroom down the hall, those faced, I guess that would be south if that's east. Okay, yeah. So in my dream, I hopped out of, there was this monster chasing me, and I can't remember how things changed direction, because you know how architecture gets all screwed up in your dreams. But we were going, I think it would be clockwise at one point, so I'd be outside and have to jump through my bedroom window into the bedroom, and then out the bedroom door, hang a right turn, and you're into the family room, kind of, and then keep curving right because you're running clockwise to get back out of the bedroom. And this thing with a very bulbous face and like ram's horns, around the sides of its head, like Princess Leia's buns,
Oh, shit.
yeah, this thing was chasing me, and my dad was outside, on where the grass would be off the patio. And so you run out this Arcadia door, and he's pretty much dead ahead, but this thing is chasing me, and I'm yelling, "Dad!" But his back is to the Arcadia door, and so I'm still hanging a right. Now somewhere in the dream, of course, everything reverses, and I'm running counterclockwise. So out the bedroom window, and then back in through the family room, and then just into the hallway, into the bedroom, and out again. And so as I'm yelling for my dad, he turns his head around to address me, to tell me to shut up and leave him alone. And there's this very smooth, finely chiseled man in a gray suit, a very slender build, talking to him, and that's facing my dad, who's facing away from the house. And the smooth man in the gray suit would lift his hand up, take my dad by the chin, and redirect his attention back to the two of them talking. So he's keeping him distracted from me while this monster is chasing me around in circles. I have no idea how I woke up from that.
That is creepy as F, man.
That is intense.
The dude in the suit.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that.
There was no sky outside. Like, it wasn't just nighttime. It's not that the sky was black. It's that there was no sky. So yeah,
how old were you when you had this dream?
Probably 8 or 9.
Yeah, so it stayed with you that long. Yeah, it sounds very. That's creepy. That's just plain old creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how does your brain come up with that sort of stuff?
I think there's a certain spiritual component to things, dreams included. Not that, and Christians kind of go weird about this. Like, can demons read your thoughts? Okay, everything I've studied says no, and a lot of your dreams are dumping what you've got in your head already. But I really wonder about there being a spiritual component where in some dreams we have, you're getting a little bit more from the outside than just your own thoughts in there. So
okay,
sure.
I think I've told this one before, but not too many times, maybe. And this is a bit related to this, Blue. So, I had a dream once that really stuck in my mind, where I was in this really just dingy, gritty, gross, old, unkept house. And it was in a nice street, but this one house was, derelict. And I was stuck in the house because there was a witch keeping me in there. And it just really stuck with me. And terrifying nightmare at the time. Anyway, years later, I moved to a completely new house and location that I'd never been before. And I was riding my bike down the road and I stopped dead, just like slam on the brakes. And I was right out front of that house from my dream. And I was just transported back in an instant. And the whole dream just started replaying, in my mind again, just as I'm standing in front of this crazy house. And it was exactly as I dreamt it. It was on a really nice street. It was the same frontage. It was derelict. It was old. It would look totally out of place. And I just stood there on my bike, just like, what the hell? How the hell did I know about this place? I've never been here before. You're saying maybe, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have no explanation for that at all. And I wasn't young either. This wasn't me as a 6 or 7 year old. I was, 12, 13, 14.
When you had the dream, or when you moved to the new?
I would have been about 11 or 12 when I had the dream, and then
Okay.
13, 14 when I saw the house. And I was just like, even thinking about it now, I still go, ugh.
I have another like story to tell. Like, all right, so this was terrifying to me at the time, but it's more comical now. So when I was in college,
the suspense.
No, that's on purpose. This is part 2.
Dramatic.
Yeah.
You're back.
Yeah, there we go.
When you were
So me and my roommates did acid, and we always had like one person as a babysitter, and it was at my girlfriend at the time. Sober one to make sure we didn't do anything too stupid. So I'm starting to have like a bad trip, and at the time I was kind of like not doing very well in college, and I was ghosting my parents, and I kind of dropped out, and they were like, "Oh, we love you. We just wish you'd talk to us again." And I was like, having a bad trip, not cool. So I'm like, I'm gonna listen to Disney music. That's gonna cheer me up. Except what played was like Son of Man from Tarzan, and that is the worst song ever to play. Because that whole song is about like, oh, you're growing up now and I'm proud of you. No, I hate Phil Collins. And I like Phil Collins is a piece of shit. Forever hate Phil Collins because of that. But here's the terrifying thing. All right, so my girlfriend's like, well, let's take a shower together. That's going to cheer you up. And I'm like, yes, it will.
I like
Boobies
the
in
way
the
you
shower.
think. Yes.
Absolutely. So we're in the shower and we kind of do stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Like you wash your hair?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We wash our hair. Except I freak out because like I look down because she's on her knees.
Washing her hair.
Washing her hair.
Yeah, that's
and
the
I
best
freak out.
advantage point.
And I freak out because she dyed her hair while we were tripping. So when I look down, all I see is red going down the sink.
Oh man,
I'm still tripping. My mind goes, oh, I just killed my girlfriend. I just came bullets.
With your dagger dick.
Out. My dick's a shotgun, and I came bullets.
Oh my God. Tripping thing.
I don't even know how to interpret that story. That one has to soak in a little bit. Yeah, crackheads are with me too. I thought you were going to say it was a bit like in, The Devil's Advocate, where he's with the woman and then she starts changing, and he freaks out. But no, you're like, no, it looked like blood going down the shower drain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right.
Man, like I almost called the cops. I almost called her parents. She was like, "Don't you do any of that?" And I was like, "Holy crap, you're a ghost and you're already haunting me." I'm like, "This is gonna be a really messed up game of Clue." It was me in the shower with my dick gun.
Yeah. The next Pluto game.
That's hilarious.
Well, I don't know how we're going to top that story. You got any dagger dick stories? Anyone else?
Oh,
No, I mean I have
I'm
another.
having a kid's book. You should buy that.
I have a serious story, but I don't want to bring the mood down. It's sad and morbid. So no, somebody else tell the story. It involves somebody dying in a grisly way. So no.
Yeah, and I had a story as well that now just seems like total weak sauce. It's like no, I mean this again. It's not as scary like in with ghosts or anything. But a kid in my backyard got set on fire, and we had to put him out. But compared to Dutton's story, that's just I'll just pass that one by maybe.
all right. Well, my job is usually to bring the mood down by telling stories badly. So I'll try to get us there for you, Death Metal. I'll do the opening act. How's that?
All right, you go right ahead. You bring the mood down, and then I'll bring them home.
I'll tell one about the dorm room. And but before I do that, here's a little appendix to my prior story. What? Huh?
The dorm room.
The dorm rooms. Here's a little appendix to my prior story. I did keep away from the charismatic Christians, but I have read a few of their books. Okay, there's plenty of reasons not to get into charismatic weirdness, but one of them opened a book, or one of them started with a story. I think it was called "Bitten by Demons." Was the beginning of one of these stories, and it's a girl who was getting bite marks on her mysteriously in like Indonesia or the Philippines, and her description of the demon she was seeing was, black curly hair, squat face, ram's horns, was exactly the same as the one from my dream.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So now to college.
All right.
Sorry, what was that?
Even I get like a bit of up the back of the neck when I hear stuff like that.
So the women's dorm in college, when the dorms were a good place and not like pretend to be resorts or anything, they had their own ghost from the story was always a suicide, and I think there's always a name like Nancy or whatever, and they would now, when things would go poltergeist on them, they'd say, "Nancy, stop it," and stuff would stop moving, things would stop falling off of dressers or whatnot. So plenty of my female friends and women I was dating saw this stuff. But over in the guys' dorm, there was something else. There was an old phone booth built into the dormitory, sort of across the street, or across the hall from where my room was. But down the hall, I was in my buddy's place. I think Jeff and Shane, I think. So Jeff's not around, but I'm sitting on his bed. And Shane, he's got his bed lofted up, so he has an easy chair underneath it. And he and I are just sitting around talking. And I've got my feet kicked up, not to be disrespectful to Jeff, but you ever look at a light bulb and then you look away and you got that dark spot on your eye?
Mm-hmm.
But everywhere your eye moves, the dark spot moves relative to your field of view. It's always in the middle, that kind of thing. Well, so Shane and I are talking, and what if you're looking at something and the dark spot moves across your field of view, but you're not moving your eyes around? And then this tingling starts like low around my knees and whatnot, and crawls up me until it's grabbing my throat and pressing. And I'm just like, "Shane, something's happening." And he says, "Oh," and I said, and I forget what came next, but then he started asking me these questions. Is it something like that? And I leaned back a little bit because this thing is on my neck, and everything he's asking, I'm answering yes to. And I just was thinking, well, screw this. And I just moved off of the bed where I was, and then I felt normal again. And then I realized, wait a minute, why'd you ask all those questions? He said, "Oh yeah, same thing happened to Jeff." So seeing shadows that move, like literally through a room, that's been an experience I've had a couple of times. They rearranged the room to put their dressers over where Jeff's bed was, so that's where their Nintendo and TV were. And from that point on, like every so often, all their electronics would glitch out and whatnot. So I've been grabbed.
Did he not think to warn you about the Nancy Poltergeist?
Well, this one, they didn't have a name for this one. This was in the men's dorm.
Okay, so this was Johnny.
Yeah, we'll just call it Johnny. But no, this was my first. This is my first experience, and I didn't see a reason for them to warn anybody. But it was, it was pretty scary. So Jeff came back from where he was away for the weekend, and he's like, "Oh yeah, stuff happened."
He should pay admission for that.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's just a little ride, you can jump on and jump off.
Yeah, I wish. It's not that pleasant. It's like you're covered in needles. It's like something electrical is all around you. That's trying to get through your neck into your throat to keep you from breathing. That's about what it was, and I guess
maybe not
its territory. So.
Maybe not.
All right.
I wonder if ghosts take offended if you like do a Ghostbusters like marathon.
Why would that happen?
Just you're like, oh, my room's haunted. I feel like I'm just gonna have like Ghostbusters play 24/7, or at least for a whole day.
They just start knocking stuff over. Hey, don't belittle me with Bill Murray.
Ricky Gervais on the Ricky Gervais show, they had a great bit where they were talking about, why ghosts, if you were a ghost, you would just do, totally different things to what people say ghosts do, stay around the house.
I would haunt other ghosts.
They were.
I'd be the ghost that would haunt other ghosts to make them like pass over. Like, you know what? I'm no longer gonna haunt this place. Like this ghost is annoying the hell out of me. I'm done. Like, what you gonna do today? You gonna knock over some lamps? What would you do, Luke?
If you were a ghost?
I would go into all of the top secret facilities and see what they're hiding down there. Like Area 51. What's really there? And probably be really disappointed by what's actually there. No,
you might find the craft from Not of This World.
Right. I don't know, just like
the hell they're talking about.
Like the Vatican Library. I'd go infiltrate the Vatican Library. That's what I'd do as a ghost.
I think my brother has access to some things in that. He's like a scholar, a historian, and he's allowed to go read. I don't know if it's in the Vatican, but it's in Rome, and there's one in Florence as well, where he's allowed to go in and read documents no one else is allowed to. Because it's like
fucking cool, man.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't know this until he became a professor, but apparently, each pope has a guy or a couple of guys, depending on how important the pope was in history. That like this person is the guy. If anyone wants to know about this pope, you go to this professor, and he's read all the old stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah. So he gets the secret key. He knows all the secret handshakes.
Mm-hmm. Gets you the secret bathroom too. I bet. The one that cleaned extra well.
Rick Saylor says, "Luke, your birthday stream kicked ass. Thanks for the live
comment. Appreciate you coming to hang out."
Although Rick probably said it kicked ass.
ass titty.
I did.
Albino's with you. He would go to the secret places and look at the secret docs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Come on, there must be some good things.
You got to be careful though,
because hidden stuff.
You get down under Area 51 and you find out that's where they're holding all the ghosts, so they just trap you.
Oh, dude, yeah, that could be true. That could be true. Yeah. Like they've got a field and it traps you in there because they know everybody's going to go looking for it.
Antoine has a pertinent question. Can ghosts swank?
Yes, ectoplasma. Ectoplasma.
What's that?
Go ahead, Dutton.
I was like, obviously, because you have ectoplasma. That's obviously ghost wanking.
Well, that has a whole different dimension to Ghostbusters now.
Yeah.
I got slimed.
Ghost Nutbusters. No, Alan Moore actually touches on ghost copulation and masturbation in because of course he does in Jerusalem, his prose novel. The audiobook was over 60 fucking hours long. I had to download it in 6 parts. But it's like 4 giant novels woven together in like this giant Gordian knot of a story that takes place throughout like the history of this one particular spot in England.
Damn.
It's not bad. I mean, it's a lot.
It's not bad. Takes
the author,
months to get to it.
The narrator did a really good job of varying the characters, but it's so much to take in, and you know, we're not all Alan Moore, so we can't all keep track of these giant, weaving stories. But overall, yeah, worth a read if you like Alan Moore.
Well, even George R. R. Martin can't. Apparently, I don't think anyone's going to see the final books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's probably true. I mean, he can redeem the series if he writes a good enough ending. But now the pressure's really on because fuck that 8th season. Like, fuck that.
Even the last 3 seasons, I think, were a bit off the rails.
I mean, my
bring it back
as it went on, but yeah.
Bring it back to Unstitched because we're 9 minutes out now. Someone asked a question earlier, what's your favorite part of Unstitched? What really, gets you going about this story, Dutton?
The world building that is in it, because so you have the Dream King, who brings dreams and like hopes to children, and he has the teddies that he's created as like knights to protect them. And then you have the darkness, and the boogeyman is like the anti-Teddy. He's my favorite character. Obviously, because just a teddy bear that unstitches other teddy bears and then wears their like torn up hide as like pelts. I don't know. I mean, that was just cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I'm trying to find another photo of him. So he's up here.
Yeah. You know what, Michael? I can send you some photos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because
those little dead bears on his back.
Mm-hmm.
I know. With the stuffing coming out.
Let's see some good photos.
I love the art style that you chose for this because it's cute enough to be all ages, but it's detailed enough to get the scary feeling across. It's got enough mood to get the feeling across. I love it.
Yeah.
Now, Luke, you didn't want to bring it.
It balances very well.
So
What'd you say, Luke?
Luke, you wanted to skip over a very sad story. I understand that. So I'm wondering about your first horror stories. Mine was The House with a Clock on Its Walls, I think. Unless there was like something before that I'm just not remembering. As a kid, what was your first scary stories?
First scary stories to tell in the dark, man. Like that was classic. Like that was the scary stories that you told, and like just they weren't super like frightening horror, but they were unsettling. Like they made you think. And there was also this series of like young adult detective novels written by Alfred Hitchcock, or Alfred Hitchcock Presents, like The Three Detectives, I think is what it was called. And there was one where they actually like encountered a ghost that had just unsettled the fuck out of me as a kid. And when I look for horror things, I look for things that unsettle me. Because like jump scares, fuck off. Anybody can do a jump scare, but give me something that's going to make me think and like leave me fucking unsettled. Like gore porn, I can give a fuck less about. Like if you use gore in a tasteful way to like accentuate the story, but no, unfucking settle me and good luck.
Dutton, what do you remember being your first scary book or short story when you were growing up?
Dang. I don't know. Like, I really just kind of watched horror movies because my dad was like, "Hey, here's Friday the 13th. Have fun." And I'm like, I'm 6, but okay, that's cool. It's gonna be scared of like hockey for like a week or 2.
Oh man, it's all starting to make sense now.
I'm getting this now. Okay. So we got new art.
Yeah.
This is good.
This
is creepy.
This is
Exactly. I love it. Yeah.
This is where like some bed bugs filled, and the darkness doesn't play, and he just kind of summons his boogeyman, which is his evil teddy bear, and the boogeyman just kind of dispatches the bed bugs in a very like Darth Vader-esque way.
Ooh.
And then just like starts to lick like the bug juice, and you see all the unstitched teddies on his back. Just
It's delightfully fucking creepy. I love it.
yeah.
You want unsettling? The I'm wearing my victims is pretty unsettling.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Whimsical terror is kind of the theme for Unstitched.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, Blue, there was a book in our school library, and it was just a sort of encyclopedia of all the different monsters. So there was vampires and Dracula. Like Dracula was in there; he had his own section. There were werewolves, and it was written in a way that it actually had examples of real life people who were thought to have been these things, and ghosts and ghouls and what's the difference between a demon. I used to get that thing out all the time. I just love the idea of thinking these things are out there. I just ate that stuff up. I at some point though, I just turned off horror and scary stuff. I don't know when it exactly happened, but I just probably had enough of getting the shit scared out of me at some point. When you're a kid, it's sort of like a test of your mettle. I'm gonna watch Nightmare on Elm Street because I'm tough and stuff like that. But you're right, Luke. When I look back at that stuff now, some of that older stuff, just the gore stuff, it's funnier than anything else. It's not really scary.
Well, I mean, sometimes you just push it over the top, like the Hostel series or the Saw series, and I just those don't do anything for me. But like 1974's Black Christmas, go watch that, and that's a fucking good horror movie. That is a fucking good slasher flick because it'll leave you thinking at the end of it. It'll leave you unsettled. Fun fact: it's also directed by the same dude that directed A Christmas Story. So they're both set, around Christmas time. So yeah, it's a good movie.
Oh, you know
really
who's
slasher flick?
Yeah, you know who's scary for kids? You might not, because I remember we had Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. That was a book around the house as well. But we also eventually got a book of his short stories. Was Roald Dahl. One of my favorites of his was Danny Champion of the World, and that one it wasn't intended to be scary, but it had me tense at times. But his little short stories, like the one about the woman eating honey, something like somebody eating honey till they started to turn into a bee and get little fuzz on them and stuff. Yeah, he had a way of getting into you and then being creepy. It was Roald Dahl.
Totally. Shel Silverstein also was able to do that. Like, most of his stuff was, kind of whimsical and whatnot, but every so often, like, he would have a little picture and then a little poem that goes along with it, and it's just, it would touch that, like, unsettling spot in your brain. You're like, ooh, there's something dark there,
Yeah.
All right, guys, my hour is up. I've got to get back to work. But it's been great.
I did give you, like, one more picture if you want.
Oh, did you? Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh God, you did as well. Oh, that's great. Oh, let me show this. Where is it? Let's go back to this.
Yeah.
Here we go. Check this out.
Oh wow.
There's that scary cotton ball again. Okay, he was disturbing me on the front the other page, but here he's not quite as disturbing.
Yeah.
Wow.
fantastic.
Love it.
Oh,
Yeah, this is
please do.
Love the
The,
color palette.
the boogeyman breaking a cage, which is holding a monster in the closet, which you see at the very bottom.
yeah,
Yeah.
things tearing through doors bothers me. It does.
Here's Johnny.
Don't you? I know. I always remember, in a nightmare, things happen, and it's always just seems so unfair. Like you were saying earlier, Blue. You're running away from something, but then the dream just wants to screw with you. You end up running in circles, or maybe you can't run properly anymore, or or if you are fighting back in your dream and you kill something, and then it comes back, you're like, "Come on, this isn't fair."
Right? That's
Yeah.
the logic of dreams.
Yeah, treadmills to nowhere.
Yeah, no, it just does that's why now if I ever have a nightmare, I'm just like, ding, I just open my eyes. I'm like, no, can't be bothered with this shit. I want a nice sleep.
The headspace. I got too much to do.
Exactly. I got to get up in a few hours and draw.
Exactly.
I just want to answer one question in the chat. Unstitched is not a wordless book. We just haven't done the all the lettering yet because I invested so much of my own personal money on making sure that all the art was done.
Yes.
And getting the covers and stuff, and it's expensive. But once I get funding and hopefully I can hit it in like 14 days, the lettering part's gonna go pretty smooth, and boom. I'll be sharing like the first 12 pages of lettering for those who back once I hit funding. So
And you're one backer closer now.
Nice.
yeah.
So thank you to it was earlier on we saw someone had backed it. So thank you so much for that. All right, guys, we are going to close out the stream. We've been going an hour. Thanks so much, Dutton, for coming on. Thanks so much, Luke. This has been great. It's been full of ups and downs. It went dark. It went light.
Oh yeah.
It went weird. I think the prize for the weirdest goes to
very unstitched. It went dark. It went light. It's definitely weird.
I see what you did there.
All right, guys.
Very good at the plugs.
Thanks
so much for coming out. And Blue, of course. See you tomorrow. And see you, chat. Have a good one.
All right.
Chat.